take a look at this.
A lot to unravel in this game, but I guess a starting point, though, is to ask what you thought of Steph's game.
Yeah, I think he was aggressive. I thought he tried to influence the game in a lot of aspects. He's been challenged to rebound. He had 8 of them tonight, 4 offensively. He had 7 free throws, and he's aggressive in a lot of aspects, which is what we want to see from him.
I wish somebody would ask about the starting lineup thing.
Side down the stretch, what did you see go wrong defensively?
I think we had a little bit of we let our dopper down just a little bit in terms of some of the resistance and the transition, some of the crowds, and not an excuse, but those guys have put together a heck of an effort in the last 2 nights. Lost Julian, we were a man down. I rode Fox and Steph pretty hard there in the second half. Maybe I could have got those guys out and got them a quick break, but they did a good job.
Sorry, I shouldn't be glancing the chat. Castle is not better than Manu, whoever typed that. Who typed that? Hey man, I'm hype about Castle too, but woo, that is a take, man. He's not Manu. Yeah, that's not good. He's not Manu. Manu is there's tiers to this, okay? He's not on that tier. He's not on that tier yet. That's crazy. I mean, Manu is a player that Kobe had issues with. Like, Kobe couldn't handle. He said that. He was like, yeah, he gives me my worst matchup. That's how good he was. Don't think we would get that if, Kobe was still playing and he was here with us today going against Castle. I don't know if we would get that in the next few years. Like, oh, he gave me issue. I don't know about that. Like, we gotta calm down a little bit. That's crazy. Clan says Sohan is better than Duncan. Okay, Chandler, I said that you were mid, but that brought you a little above average. That's a funny comment.
Good job. They're relentless at attacking the paint. SGA and Jalen Williams, those guys, two-headed monster in terms of, imposing themselves and getting into that paint. Thought we did a good job at parts of the game making them see crowds and finding other people early, but they did do a good job as well of imposing their will in that regard.
Speaking of Julian getting tossed, what did you see on that? Did you see the replay, and what did you think of that? And it happens so much now in our game. I don't know. It feels like the rule has changed maybe, but when people are aggressive, there's a lot of these incidental elbows or contact. I don't really know who's at fault, to be honest, but it just looked like that was what initiated it, and then there was some response on both ends. I didn't think much of it, and then people were just protecting their guys and whatnot, but I didn't think it was anything intentional and I didn't look at the scrum to see if they should have got thrown out or not. But the initial basketball play I did see, and just looked like Kenrich Williams was being aggressive and Julian was opening up.
Clan, how would you want to move on from this? Wait, how could you want to move on from this, Clan? Look at the intelligence in which he speaks. Like, Mitch is here to stay. I can't tell if you're for real or not. Like, I cannot tell. I never said I wanted Mitch Johnson fired. I think he's probably a phenomenal assistant coach. I mean, if you're under Pop, I can make that assumption because we've had so many great assistant coaches over the years. But he's a young coach, and as a head coach, he hasn't been good. But he's probably trolling. You're probably trolling, right?
I don't know if that's an offensive foul now, or I don't know where that line is of what space you're allowed.
This really tough stretch that you guys
LOL,
have
sure.
been in for
Okay,
the
I
past
have no
couple
idea.
weeks, the way games are getting away at the end, does that remind you at all to the way they did during your tough stretches last year? And is there any common thread between those, or do you see it as a completely different situation?
I don't think tonight felt like that as much of. I think we got wore down by a very, very good team. Second night.
I do miss Pop, y'all. I miss Pop. Looking at the comment about he sounds like Doc Rivers. I miss Pop that would come up here and just say, we need to do this better. That was awful. That was terrible, allowing that. And then sometimes Pop would be like, no, we did just lose to a good team. But, like, I haven't gotten one press conference from Mitch Johnson in which he just, and not saying you have to be like, you don't have to dog on your team, right? It doesn't have to be performative, right? I don't want him to be performative or anything, but like, just saying that was awful. Like, I don't know. It's okay. Like, that does feel good sometimes. I guess that's part of how people feel going on this channel. Like, you guys want me to say, like, Vassell is trash. And while I'll say, oh, he was awful shooting-wise, like, I don't think he's trash, so I don't say that. But, like, I guess for me, I would enjoy it to hear the coach just kind of say, like, because when you say, well, because of this happened. Oh, and because of this happened. You keep doing that. It's like, can we just, like, say we could do better? Just say we need to do better. Like, he's done it a little bit before, but there's more of this than anything. Just kind of this justification for a lot of this.
Out of a back-to-back last night was hard fought. Like I said, a couple of those guys had very long stints in that fourth quarter, or late in the third quarter. Julian went down. We were man down. I think there was a level also of Jeremy was actually out for a second too, getting looked at. I thought they fought their butts off. Again, OKC's probably saying the same thing about us. They made a lot of shots. We made a lot of shots. And at some point, we stopped scoring a little bit, and they kind of maintained it. And then I think that's where, you have to put your energy in getting the stops and getting the rebounds and not turning the ball over and not the makes. The makes and misses come and go. That other stuff is what compound runs.
That actually, unironically, what he just said there is the same reason why I said that Steph Castle and Sohan are going to be more impactful once you're actually in the playoffs, right? Because the shooting stuff, if that's your main attribute, which it's fine for it to be your main attribute, it's very important. Obviously, the ball has to go, in the hoop. But, that comes and goes, game to game sometimes. But the things that remain is those fundamentals, that defense, the rebounding, the toughness, the getting to the rim, like all that will be there. Like you can always rely on that, right? You can always rely on that.
Getting worn down, did that contribute to the, not being able to keep it up from 3-point range? You went from 16 to 2.
Yeah, I think it's all what happened first, the chicken and the egg, right? OKC gets credit. I think they picked up their defensive intensity, and I think we did a good job. I still thought we got some good shots in that second half, even early in the third quarter. That third quarter is probably the most frustrating part. That's been a thing for us now where we come out at halftime, whether we're up or even, and teams are scoring consistently, and we got to find a way there. And even when they're not scoring, we may give up a rebound or two. And so that's just, again, when you put in so much work and then you give it back in a short amount of time, that's the stuff I think that we got to nip in the butt. And to your question earlier, Mike, that's the stuff we don't want to sustain that we had in that little bit of a stretch previously.
How you've deployed and used De'Aaron since he's been here, I guess, especially since Victor has been out. Is that how you foresee using him the rest of these next 6-7 weeks, or is that kind of evolve during that time?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of evolution here, obviously, and we've done some different things with him, even in terms of sometimes he's playing 2 longer stints, sometimes he's playing 3. We've played him, I think, more with certain combinations as of late than early on. And we just got him. We had our first practice 2 days ago with him. This is his first home game. So to think that there wouldn't be a ton of evolution would be silly on our part.
Who are we talking about? I feel like I blacked out. Not too interesting. Who are we talking about? Fox? Are you sure? Did he say we got him 2 days ago? 2 weeks? Did he say 2 weeks? Who are we talking about? Fox? Okay. I need to listen to that again.
Different things with him, even a lot of
that how you foresee using, I guess, especially since Victor has been out. Is that De'Aaron since he's been here?
A stretch previously.
How you've deployed and used De'Aaron since he's been here, I guess, especially since Victor has been out. Is that how you foresee using him the rest of these next 6-7 weeks, or is that kind of evolve during that time?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of evolution here, obviously, And we've done some different things with him, even in terms of sometimes he's playing 2 longer stints, sometimes he's playing 3. We've played him, I think, more with certain combinations as of late than early on. And we just got him. We had our first practice 2 days ago with him. This is his first home game. So to think that there wouldn't be...
I think he should get playing time running as the primary point guard so he can get used to the guys a little bit quicker. That's what I think.
And you can see that.
Silly on our part.
Even during the rest of the season, you can see that, or you expect to see that change.
Yeah, I mean, I think with us, we have an identity and a style of play that we're trying to grow, and we've been trying to grow. When you add a player of that caliber, to think that that's not going to take time, right? You look at any of these top teams around the league, there's continuity is a big word that doesn't get discussed enough, and that's something that we are early.
But that's what I'm saying. I think the continuity could be improved if he starts without Chris Paul in the starting lineup, and you put in Sohan, so he can have that pick and roll thread, and he can get used to the guys a little bit more. He can actually run the offense and not have to split it up with Chris Paul. Like, what?
Stages for different reasons in the earliest stage with him, but there's some exciting potential to see on the way.
But that's like bare minimum. I don't know. Maybe the plan is to eventually do that. Maybe the plan right now is for Chris Paul to be on the court with him, kind of walk him through some stuff. But even if that's the case, I still don't understand not having a defender in your starting lineup. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we haven't heard from Wemby at all. I don't know when that'll be. Anyways, in a segment here.